Hello there, this is my Toyota Hilux. I'm going to be undersealing the Lanoguard. Lanoguard is kind of minimum preparation. You can apply it direct to surface rust as long as you get rid of all the flakes of anything that's broken up. Worse than that of surface rust. I've been round here for about 4 hours right under the chassis, front to back, axles, the lot. I've wire brushed as much as I can. There's no flakes or anything underneath, it's all surface rust. It does look quite bad under this light, but it is only cosmetic really, nothing structural whatsoever. But I'm undersealing it for a reason. So you can see up there, that's where the spare wheel was, drop down a wee bit along the seams there. Springs you can't do much about, shocks are old anyway, so that's just as usual with shock absorbers. But I plan to get in there. Initially on the weld seams, areas of exposure that get the worst of the weather and the road traffic film and everything else, stone chips a lot. I'm going to convert that to some kind of rust converter. I've got a couple of ones to try, and then I'm going to apply the Lanoguard spray and grease as much as I can. I'll put the grease on the welds and stuff, and then apply I think it's the Moto spray to the entire underside of the vehicle. I'm still waiting for the delivery of that, so I do have spare time, and that's why I'm going round to put the rust converter on it. You don't actually have to use rust converter, but it does turn the metal that wee bit blacker, more for aesthetics than anything, I guess. That's one of the welds there. This chassis bracket, you can see it's starting to go there, so I've taken that back with a wire brush and one of the wee wire brushes that go at the end of the drill. So say that comes up, I'm just going to put some converter on here around this face, turn that black. These bits at the back in Hiluxes, I've looked at 20 plates and they're starting to go in the same area. That bit there's solid, I mean it's all solid, but it's more cosmetic there, but for some reason these bits get it, don't make them like they used to. So I'm going to go and get the converter now. I've tried it in the skid plate. I've tried 2 different rust converters to see what they turn out like, so I'm going to have a look at that, and then we'll go in with the Hilux. I've got it sitting up just now just so I can access this rather than taking the wheel off. Just put the ramp under one wheel, let the wheel articulate and flex. So I'm going to the garage now, try out the stuff and see what's best, or is going to be best for putting under the Hilux. And these are just some of the tools that I used to clear the underside. A big long flat-headed screwdriver. It's good for getting the hard to reach areas, or if you want a bit of persuasion behind to get any flakes of rust off. Again, another wee screwdriver. This tool here is just a wee paint scraper. I think it's actually a putty knife. That's quite handy for following the contours and scraping along the chassis rail and everything. Good old standard wire brush, safety glasses of course, safety first, I should have shown them first. Drill bits there, this kind of wire head for it, that's quite good, that one, quite abrasive. And then you've got these kind of other ones readily available, and some other wire brushes, all shapes and sizes. Didn't even use that one, haven't used these, so hopefully I'll not have to. And that's pretty much it. These are the 2 rust converters I'm going to try. I've got the skid plates off from the underside of the vehicle at the front, just so I could access the chassis and give it a clean. So I'm going to try that on the skid plates and see what the outcome is. Right, here's one of the sections of the skid plates. That's the back of it, and that's how rusted it was. And at the back of it, it'll get debris and everything lying on it, fills up with gunk. So I've given that a clean. I gave it a wire brush, and that's what the plates are like to start with. Now on this one, you can see it, that's hammerite, Kurust or Kurust, whatever you want to call it. And that's the outcome there. That was just one coat. That stuff's kind of milk-like in consistency. It has certainly darkened down the metal. I gave this section here, what is it? Yep, I gave this section, this bit here and round the top, I gave it a second coat. And it's hard to tell in this light, but it has turned it a wee bit darker. but there is still hints of brown through it, but it's certainly a lot darker than what it was. It's got a shiny finish, it's smooth. Quite happy with that for the old Kurust. And then another one, I used this Genelite stuff. I heard it was fantastic stuff, but I don't know the finish on this. I don't know if it's the way the metals reacted or the cold temperatures. I've done them both at the same time basically, but this is more of a blue effect. Again, it's smooth, it's dry, it's not waxy whatsoever, but that's kind of giving it that effect now. I don't know how that will go once the Lanoguard's on it. Will it bring it to some kind of sheen? I'm not too sure. That was the back side of it. It's got even hints of purple on it, I think. So, out of the two, I'm going to be using this stuff, the Hammerite. I'll see how that goes. I mean, that's a tiny wee bottle. I think it's 90ml or something. 6 or 7 quid from the local DIY store, which is fine for how I'm going to use it, but it is like milk, and the consistency of it, it goes for miles, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try that in some of the exposed welds. We'll start that today, and I think I'll be avoiding using that. I don't know if that's the way it's meant to be, but as far as aesthetics go, it's that, and I know it's not all about aesthetics. Maybe that's going to last 10 times longer, but the idea is, once these are sealed up with the rust converter and then the Lanoguard over it, that should stop any further progression anyway, or deterioration, fingers crossed. So I'm just doing this as a wee added bonus as well as the Lanoguard. I'm sure the Lanoguard's quite capable, but I might as well do this while I'm waiting for my stuff to turn up. Cheers. This is the health and safety bit. Pair of man-killed gloves and pair of eyeglasses there, eye protection. And when you're working with these rust converters, you need to pour it into a separate container, and you shouldn't return the used stuff that you've been dipping your brush into back to the container, so you just lob it into something. There's a wee milk carton with an excess bit on it, a bit easy to carry with the big gloves on, lift the handle on, a couple of brushes. So once you've used it and any left over, you need to dispose of it accordingly. You definitely can't put it back into your tub, or it'll just contaminate the rest of your material. Right, I'm going to give this its first wee coat. Stuff's not in the milk cart anymore because it kept blowing over because it was blowing a gale, so used a lid of an aerosol. Here's the gloves I was using when I painted the skid plate. That's what it does to your fingers if you don't put gloves on. It turns you into a smurf, but there you go, a tiny wee bit in that lid, hardly enough to cover it. I don't think you really have to go over the top of this stuff, so I'll just paint away here, try and film it. I don't think you have to be too generous with it, as I say. Look at the consistency of that. I mean, that's just the tip of the brush. That goes for miles. I don't know if that's in focus or it's my eyesight. And you want to be getting all the edges and as much as you can. The Lanoguard kit, I've bought the wee kind of 360-degree sprayer so you can put in all these cavities and give it a blast. But I think when you look at that, you can actually see it. It's getting quite dark already. Now, the temperature's only about 4 degrees or something here. I think if you don't see this darkening within 15 minutes, they say to reapply, or maybe it's even up to an hour. So when I reapplied stuff onto that skid plate, it was after an hour and it took it. So I'm just getting to these wee crevices. So I'm not going to film every bit of painting. It might be more exciting watching paint dry, but I'll just come back to this later on and show you how it dries, and then I can work out whether or not it's needing a second coat. I'm just going to catch all these wee bits, and I'll go the other side and do the same the other side of the chassis. put the car up in one ramp, let it flex. I'm going to just do the top of this wee chassis rail as well, maybe give that a wee coating, no harm in that. This wee bit up here, and I'll keep these up to date. Cheers! Well, that's the chassis after an hour. Certainly darkened down a bit. Looks fine. Let's go to the back. Can't really see there, but it's still got wee bits of brown, so I'm just going to give this another wee quick coat, wee top up. See how it goes. But aye, it's definitely made a difference. Well, it's the morning after. It's frosty last night. -3. Look in here, I've put some rust converter on that weld there, which is looking no bad. Obviously need to clean that chassis before we get some lano on it, but I need to get the front wheels off, I think, to do that. See if that's in focus. The back's definitely looking a lot better, it's all sealed up, that's gone off, that's solid. In there, that top bracket as well, so it's not completely black, but it's treated, it's sealed. That's probably as good as we're going to get. Underneath the back axles, cleaned up well. The very bottom bit there, the bottom of the diff, it's still brown, but there's actually some diff oil or something on there displacing the rust converter when I was putting it on, so I'll give that another brush. See if I can clean it up a bit more and get some converter onto that. Underneath, if you can see, it's looking a lot better. That kind of cross member there. Hopefully the Lanoguard will address that light surface rust. I'm going to give that a bit of silicone spray or something. That's the wee winch that pulls up the spare wheel carrier. And just have a look at this side as well. Again, pretty much the same as the other side. Still a wee bit of brown there, but it's certainly made a huge difference on the top of the chassis rail as well. So all in all, quite pleased with that. Still got a wee bit to do on the front. But as I say, I need to get these wheels off. I did put a wee bit in there on that weld on the join there, the chassis rail. Again, got to clean, got to get these wee covers off as well, just a wee flathead screw, I think, hopefully. Nothing too technical involved, maybe some sweary words, but that needs cleaned down the front as well. So that's today's or tomorrow's job. Just after 4:30, so I thought I'd come out and do a bit to the car. Take the front wheel off. As you can see, I cleaned all the welds again, down here, along here. Wee bit on top of the chassis rail. Showing a wee bit of surface rust there. Treated that corner again. And just basically everything down there, that whole section had surface rust on it, so I'm giving that a coat. Stuck the wee rubber protectors back on. These wee clips you can get with long nose pliers, if you'll see that or not. But it's just long nose pliers in there. Oop, they come out no problem. So I stick this wheel back on just now, and I'll go and do the other side. Well, it's another cold morning. Stuff arrived from Lanoguard, so current status of the chassis is that. Seen it all before. So my intention is to hit this with the grease first, and then give it a spray. It's cold. There's the grease there. Quite a solid consistency, still it's been in the house and it's still like that, so I'm intending using this little heat gun. Just subjected to that for a while and see if it improves the consistency of that, because it's nowhere near ready to be painted on. So I'll give it a blast with the heat gun and see what it turns out like, and then start applying it. You know, just after a few seconds with the heat gun, you can see the consistency of that. It's a bit more paintable, so I think that'll go. It will cool down pretty fast. I'll need to keep reheating it, but apparently with this stuff you can heat up and let it cool down as many times as you like. So while we're in that fluid state, we'll get on with it. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got around this spring hanger here with the grease. It's not transparent. I did have it in liquid form, stuck it on there, but as soon as it hit the cold metal it went off. But as you can see, that's on there. It's on that side as well. I actually ran the heat gun back over that again just to see if it would sell it a wee bit. It has made a slight difference, but I don't know if that's the end product for that. But I'm going to continue on now and spray the rest of the underside with the liquid, which is here. I'll just put that in some warm water just now, giving it a good shake, and then I'll be using the gun there, the long gun with the screw top that goes in back on top of the bottle. So I'm going to give this a quick blast just now. I'll show you the side. Oh, I'm going to left myself much space. Right, that's underneath there. That's the grease on there. I put it on liquid form as thin as I could, but it's still gumming up to that kind of consistency. I did that, but I kind of wiped off the excess, gave it heat again, and that's the back. But I think the warmer it gets, the clearer that liquid will get with that grease. But I'll give it a spray underneath now and see how that goes. Just going to see when you're priming the trigger pump, if you want to call it, just make sure you're holding it well above your canister there, just to avoid any airlocks. When that's went through, this came closed, so it's just a slight turn just to open it up, and I think at that stage it's quite a fine mist. The more you undo that nozzle, it turns to a jet. And I've used, was that just over half a canister. I think it's 2 litres, I forgot to check, but that's a litre and a bit I've used so far. That's the chassis done. All the arches, the liners. As I say, it just goes everywhere. You can see that I've sprayed all the underneath the truck bed. All the cross members, axle to the back, springs, spring hangers, everything back of the rear drums. So as I say, I've done about 3/4 of the vehicle, so I'm just going to get this off the ramps and shift it to the front. Just take a wee before video of the front. What's required is the final spray. Well, that's it, all sprayed, first coat, all done. Quite shiny just now, I think that will dye back and darken down. So right down to the back, I've done underneath the chassis rail, every cross member. Still got plenty of stuff left. See that in there. That'll be enough to get inside the chassis with the 361. That'll be my next job, and hopefully that's it. I've got the bash plates to put back on. I'm going to give them a spray back and front before I put them on, so we'll see how they turn out. Well, this is about 24 hours after the main treatment. Things have dulled down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Chassis rail, and at that corner. Have a look underneath. See much there. Rear end chassis, it's looking not bad. All the kind of wee tiny spots of surface rust seem to have gone. Springs are looking quite dark, not the bright orange surface rust. You look underneath. Shocks have darkened down, still rusty. I don't want to change that, but quite happy how that's turned out. Nothing really much to see up there, but certainly darkened down. You can see a wee bit of that grease on the welds there. I just left it on, I didn't try and reduce that, so it's got a good coat of stuff on there. Plus the spray. Round the tow bar. Just left it quite clean, still stinks. Chassis offside, you can still see a wee colour there where the surface rust was, but this Lanoguard isn't a cover up, it's certainly darkened it down. Looks quite clean in there. Springs and all. It's actually got road salt on it, look at that. That was just coming home today. I drove a mile to the yard. Offside chassis. Can't really make much out there, but I did all the seams with the grease as well. Heated it up under there, and obviously it's had the Moto spray on it as well. Can't see much now. Front, because I've put the bash plates back on. Chassis in there looking quite dark, because it is dark, but it's definitely lost its sheen. But overall, very happy with the finish. So I think that's pretty much it. I just need to get my spare wheel back under there, lubricate the wee winch that raises and lowers that, and that'll be it. Until, I don't know, I'm probably going to try and do it maybe in the summertime when things are a bit warmer, or maybe just at the end of March, April, once they stop putting the salt out in the roads, I'll get another hose down and clean. But it's went well. These wee bits here, I never put anything on at all apart from the Lanoguard, so we'll see how they do over time. But no, definitely happy with the outcome. Cheers. Merry Christmas.